Alright guys, this is the first game, very first game of the DLC. This is my army list. Here, we'll pause real quick so we can give you the rundown. Alright, got slaves, just slave garbage everywhere. Slave slingers, slave spears, slave swords. Doesn't really matter what they have, they're just gonna die and run away. You could give them just cupcakes, they'd serve the same purpose. We're all good. They're all Skaven slaves. One thing we do have, 3 sets of poison wind. These guys are always been really good in my opinion. People are kind of catching on to them now like they did the zombie grenadiers. But in my opinion, they've always been good because they're cheap. For one, they got decent armor. They laid out a pretty decent smackdown to blobby stuff that's coming in and trying to just goon out your garbage. So my thinking is he's probably got some of the light cav, the new light cav somewhere. And he's probably got customary heavy, his customary, yeah, the 1,000 gold cav that we used to have. I'm having a blank now, and then maybe some of the new stuff. And he loves ghost units, so maybe some of the ghost units. But he knows I got a lot of magical damage and stuff in my in the Skaven roster, so maybe not. But this is what we brought. I'm sure he was expecting the mortar because I love the mortar, and that's why I left it at the house. Here's our leadership. We have Throt on a brood horror. We have the packmaster on a brood horror. We have this little guy, Ashen Sorcerer. You may be like, dude, he's 42 speed. What are you doing? His spells we've got on him are really good. Brittle Bone and the armor. We're gonna area cast these things, and we also have the star because I was scared to death of the new Hawk Riders. I really rolled the dice, to be honest with you. I don't have enough range to kill all those hawks. If he would have brought like a 4-pack of hawks and the sisters, they could be pretty screwed. It'd be pretty rough. Like they wouldn't be able to land because we'd kill them. We'd stay in the woods, try to dodge their arrows, but it'd be really bad. So I was hoping that wouldn't happen. So I'm gonna roll out with some of my Skaven slave, and I'm just gonna try to find out what's in the woods. Like I know he's got cav like everywhere, and my recording indicator was right here. So in a minute that's gonna come into play. I was visually checking this, but I saw that my hounds were solid. I'm rolling all this out to try to maybe trick any cav he has over here to come out. And we just want to kill calves. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find a cav and kill the cav. So we found some ROR Way Watchers back here. So that's a good target. We're going to keep that in mind, but we're still going to keep looking. Now they're hiding. They're moving back and away. They're backing away from here. Well, I'm at this range. I'm assuming I can see anything that we can't hear. Nothing's moving. There's no cav. Okay, it's fine. His ROR Way Watchers are back here, and I'm like, man, if I can just kill these things. If nothing's coming out of the woods, we're kind of chilling. We've turned our spears. Not that it really matters. So we're going to move up some more and maybe provoke him into coming out of these woods. I know he has to have cav in his woods, right? He's got cav probably all around me is what I'm thinking. I've issued a 3-point move order here, here, and here to stay in the woods. And I turn my attention over here to move my Skaven slaves back into the woods while they wait to see what's going on. And as I turn my attention, I see that my hounds are getting hit, and you'll see here in a second I micro everything back. See, I've already done it. Micro everything back. I move these into the woods, and this is something you need to know if you're fighting a lot of camouflaged units. Don't give attack orders. When the units you're giving attack orders can't see them directly, because watch, they disappeared earlier even after we encountered them, and nothing's happening on the side of the battlefield. Don't worry, guys. And we lost an attack order, so we had to issue move orders so we get in here. But we completely annihilate. These are just the poison variant, which have more weapon strength than the special variant. Of course, you want poison because of all the light cav and the shenanigans that are going to happen. But that's cleaned up. I'm just now turning my attention back here to see what's going on because I know he's got to come out of the woods now. He's got to be ready to fight after losing these archers. And I'm thinking there's something else over here, so I'm still kind of just chilling. He comes out of the woods with his ROR zodes, right? I'm like, okay, we're going to kill these. He's coming out alone. He's probably got other cav. He wants me to blob around this, but it doesn't matter. These are Skaven slaves. We want him to get in here. He gets a good charge in on our poison wind. We really can't pull them back. because they're just going to drag through these Skaven slaves. Look at how fast they're breaking. So we got to leave these in here. We're shifting the third set over here. I'm still mindful that there could something come sweeping from our back line, but now that he's committed these zones, I know they're tanky. I know he's going to be casting all those little buffs and spells, but we can kill them here. I see this now. He's had to retreat Orion because I've swept his back line, and let's slow down because the action happens really fast. He can't really decide where he wants to go with Orion, and he kind of gets himself in trouble with that, but he makes the right decision now, cutting back towards her. And he'll change his mind once or twice. You'll see him real quick. And this is the first fight me or him have had in probably like 2 months. Like either one of us have played. If you watch my channel, the last game I cast is the last time I played. But we're going to trap these things. And he realizes here really shortly that he needs to get them out. And he turns and all the actually he's already realized that really. But all the Skaven slaves are pinning him in. He's got 2 healthy units. And we're just coming back. We're coming back with everything. They're not getting away. You can have all the Skaven. If he kills all the slaves here and all of the Globadiers, he's only just paid for that. So it doesn't matter. They die here. That's what's happening. The whole time, the business end of this, we're getting in kind of piecemeal. We're kind of trailing. The Ashen Sorcerer's trailing. The Rat Ogres are trailing. But we've gotten in on these super expensive Weight Watchers. We've gotten... first, we got our Hounds in on these Blade Singers, so they really didn't get to put in a lot of work on our single entities. And we're just keeping the Hounds here, just making room for our 2 single entities. They're healing each other. They're taking no damage. They're maxed out on health. Look at that, guys. We summon the Rat Ogres just to kind of break these guys off and clean it up, because I'm still waiting for like some huge cab charge to come busting out of the woods, right? I have seen Alarielle, but I did not check how expensive she was before we played this battle. We literally just popped into this battle as soon as I finished downloading. He was waiting on me to finish downloading because I turned my auto download off like an idiot the night before. But here's Murskatar's Hellion, and I know she's got all these fancy little abilities because he was chatting to me about it. As we lose sight of her in the trees. If you're wondering what's going on here, we're looking for her. I'm like, oh, where's she at? Where's she at? I recorded it live. I had... but I didn't talk enough to really make it worth casting. And I'm like, God, where is she at? And I'm like, oh, there she is. You see the move order issued back, and now you're going to see an attack order get issued. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm dragging these out. I haven't issued the move order yet. I'm like, where the hell has she gone? Because there's only Orion, and we're just leaving him alone. We don't want to fight him with this. And then I realized where she's at. She's behind us. We just walked by her. We couldn't see her in the trees from the way we had set up. You haven't missed anything over here, guys. The Skaven slaves are still shooting that 1 Zode unit. That's how long they've lasted. But we're just going to come pile in on her. And, buddy, if she's not tanky, I don't know who is. But we dropped Brittle Bone on her and the Dryad. We're going to come in here with all the Hounds. We're going to come in here with the Hellion. And he kind of gets hung up on these Dryad, but I'm really trying to get him on Alarielle to keep her from being able to do all the stupid stuff she can do. Because he was talking to me in chat about in Steam text about how she had all these abilities. I'm like, yeah, I kind of read them, but I really didn't read a whole lot about them. So I figured I'd just put him on there and just keep zapping her so she couldn't really do anything. And it's working some. You can see her getting zapped here and there. And Orion's going to close back in with us. And at this point, I'm like, okay, he must just not have anything else. That must just be that expensive. But it was kind of hard for me to believe that she's as expensive as she is. But yeah, I did the math afterwards, and that's just what it is. You bring elite units like that. So the Zodes are 2,000. Orion's gonna be like 2,500. She was like almost $3,000, so that's more than half an army. But we're just kind of setting back up out here because I'm still not too sure. I feel like he should have Cav because he always brings a lot of Cav. He's really good at cycle charging. I mean, there's no doubt. I used to call him the king of cycle charging. He just his micro for his Cav is on point. But Alarielle's has been in here. I'm sure she's used a berry wine. She's been up to all kinds of healing shenanigans, but she just refuses to die. Like, we've been grinding this out in the woods for 2 or 3 minutes now, and she's still not dead. And Orion's just back in here helping her. At the same time, we're just popping all of these little buffs. Like, see, she's dropping Word of Pain. It's just insane. And I see she's dropped that, so I pull away from our blob. I didn't quite pull away enough, I don't think. Yeah, I did. Oh, and she drops a Soul Stealer on top of that. So I pulled away, but then I kind of had to come back in as Orion starts to come down, and I start to wear off. But I realized real quick, downhill charge into a large entity, I'm going to die. So it's time to run. Like, this guy's built for running. I want to pull him as far away as possible, so I let him come after me, and then I run. But he realizes what I'm doing. He's like, nah, because he plays that game with me a lot. And now the tables are turned, right? Our Ancient Sorcerer has just been kicking. Uh, we've burned all of our magic out at this point. I think I'm down to like 2 magic, and we're recharging real slow. But I popped that Consumer Bomb, hoping he wouldn't be able to see me. But we separated Alariel. She got punted by the Hellion, and she got downhill. We're just gonna slowly start feeding Skaven Slave Spears into this to try to mitigate some of this Orion nonsense. Give our single entity something to fight with in here. Yeah, we just go ahead and turn the tags off in here and see like the real action. I stopped the Skaven Slave Slinger nonsense here pretty shortly, I think, because we don't want that. He's of course going to drop his buffs, but it doesn't matter. He's killing Skaven slaves. We're going to try to pin her in. We're working our way back to try to pin her in so she can't get away again. The Rat Ogres are actually pushing her out of the woods, which isn't a bad thing because of the fact she gets more healing while she's in the woods. But here comes Orion. He's not going to let his girlfriend be alone for too long, and you see the Hellion come in there with the flying punch to the face. And yeah, she's done. She's surrounded, she's dying, and she's flattened. And now it's just poor Orion out there all by himself. His girlfriend's dead. He's really a sad boy, and we're gonna get these single entities unstuck off of that tree anytime now, and they're gonna come over here and join the rest of us. But this is the elite Pit Fighters unit, and they've taken a lot of damage, guys. They have soaked it pretty much the majority of the damage, and they haven't really benefited from the heals because the Hellion and Throt have basically been stealing all the heals. I did put a remolder on these guys to try to keep them alive when we were in the brawl, but you know, you can see Orion's the last thing on field. It's all done now. We're just chilling out over here, just hanging out. But this is a good synergy. If you could put him on a mount, oh my gosh, it'd be terrifying. But even that, you can cast Brittle Bone on any blobs that form around your single entities. You can summon more Rat Ogres with Throt. You can add 60 armor to everything in the blob. It's just super, super effective. And he realizes it's over. He knows I just have Skaven Slave Slingers and slaves and whatnot. He could terror out all this, but he realizes, like, yeah, it's still pretty healthy out here, and they're only healing every second they sit there. So we're just gonna go in here and decapitate. I thought he was gonna surrender, but now he wants to tear out everything, and that's a good play. Like, he could legitimately tear out everything on the field, maybe get his healing back, and I don't know, potentially get something separated and kill it one at a time. But his health is really too low. With no chav, he's going down. And we'll just go ahead and fast forward because I do want to show y'all what the new Value City mechanics. Hopefully before I run out of time. But yeah, Morse Guitar's Hellion, he didn't really pay for himself, but if you factor in all the stun locking he was doing, he did a pretty good job. These guys, they paid for themselves almost twice over. Look at the dogs, guys. These are the dogs that got shot up early. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Even them paid for themselves just about. Just get you some. Now, the Lord's stuff, they're really not going to pay for it. Look at him. He paid for himself. But besides that, you really don't want to use your Lord super aggressively as Skaven. Again, they did most of the damage to the Zotes. But you can see even the Skaven Slave Slingers did a pretty decent job. The Spears, meh, they got about their value's worth back, which is all you can expect. I hope you guys like this.